Welcome back to Brew and Babble. Right, let's see what's in the news today. I do have. I just need to move this a bit. I can't get to me bloody. There we go. Right. So last week I actually spoke about the small temple in Turkey, which is they it was excavated in 1912, 1913. But it was misattributed then to be a temple to Demeter, apparently. But it has now been confirmed because it was still speculative last week. But it has been confirmed that it is actually a temple or second temple to Hecate in Turkey. Um, There's just having a look here. There's figurines, reliefs, and its position next to the moon god sanctuary, and two sacrificial dog burials nearby. Dogs are sacred to Hecate. All point to her. So that seems to be a confirmed thing. Hello, Zanka. Thanks for joining. All right. So in other news, let's see. I did see a really interesting. It was a Substack actually. About Sadhguru. Sadhguru, well, the Isha Foundation themselves, lost $10 million in defamation suit in Tennessee. So the Isha Foundation they sued two former followers, Jayakanthan Sankaradas and Nita Jayakanthan. And Saikat's here. Hello. Thanks for joining. So they sued for defamation over their public claims that Sadhguru and Isha were involved in rape, land grabbing, financial misconduct, and suspicious deaths. And Judge Alexander K. McVeigh, something, from the Hamilton County Circuit Court dismissed the defamation claims under Tennessee's anti-SLAPP law, ruling Isha's case was woefully undersupported. There was no proof of actual malice, insufficient evidence of damages, and it never rebutted the couple's substantial truth defense. So the key threads from the whole thing, there was Nita's sworn declaration. She alleges a 2012 incident at an Isha ashram where she was given something to drink from a copper tumbler, felt drugged, had a red thread tied around her by Sadhguru, while being told to repeat that she trusted him, then lost consciousness and woke believing she'd been raped. Her account echoes other women's stories reported in Guru magazine, removing blouses, sacred thread rituals framed as energy transmission, and coercing oral sex framed as boosting receptivity. Um, Another point, a former senior staffer recalled confronting Sadhguru about pressuring a follower, and this was Samantha, into sex, and his alleged reply was they all want to. Okay, it sounds like Trump to me. And then about deaths and disappearances cited as context, not proven murder, but part of why the hiding bodies language wasn't found defamatory. Um, under undetermined cause, yes, undetermined cause, death on Isha's Tennessee property. This was Jay's brother Elango's fatal stroke during an Isha ritual in 2009, and the long-running suspicion around the 1997 death of Sadhguru's wife, Vijaya Kumari. He cremated her within hours. There was no autopsy, and her father filed a police complaint alleging abuse. So, lots of stuff. There's land grabbing. Psycut said land grabbing is true about Isha or against Isha. Rest, I have no idea. Well, I have no idea. However, don't want to create controversies on your channel. Nah, that's what we have. We're here to report the news, and what's going on. That's got to bring out the truth, I suppose. That's what we're, what we're, I think what we need to do more often. But yeah, the land disputes allegations. Apparently, Nita says that Isha pressured her to sell about 90 acres for $211,000 after receiving a private 600,000 offer, and then also forced a sale of a 1.55 million dollar home for 960,000. So definitely that. But yeah, anyway, that's Sadhguru and the Isha Foundation for you. They all seem to go in that direction. The big ones, like the big names, seem to think they're untouchable. But anyway, all right. So next little news report I have here is about the Navan Fort protest. Um, so this protest happened outside Navan Fort, which is a name for Owen Maku. This is in Armidge in Northern Ireland. It's ahead of the annual Wickerman gathering, which is a lunar harvest festival that features storytelling, ritual, music, and the burning of a 30-foot willow and hazel wickerman atop the hill fort. Organizers pitch it as a celebration of Irish heritage, not a reenactment of anything historical. So, a small group of Catholic activists, led by Jerry McGough, gathered to pray what they called a rosary of reparation. Now, McGough told the outlet Armidge One that, or Armidge I am not sure, that he considers the gathering a satanic pagan festival, and that Navan Fort, or Awan Maku, was historically a site of pre-Christian worship where he believes human sacrifice took place. He framed Ireland's Christianization under St. Patrick as having suppressed those demonic forces and cast the Wicker Man specifically as evidence of that history. He said the Wicker Man, of course, is a very ancient pagan symbol in which human sacrifice took place and people were actually burned alive. So we're here as an act of reparation. He argued most attendees treat the event as harmless entertainment without grasping what he sees as its real religious weight. The protesters said passing motorists were largely supportive, and McGough closed by framing the demonstration as both public witness and prayer, expressing confidence that Catholic faith remains resilient in Ireland despite falling church attendance broadly. It's just some interesting things we can note from this actually. The Wicker Man causing human sacrifice. This claim actually traces back to Julius Caesar's Commentari de Bello Gallico, which is a Roman military account with an obvious propaganda incentive to paint Gauls as barbaric. Itself, or there is no archaeological corroboration at Navan Fort itself for that specific claim. There's also a nice irony angle. Modern Druidic and pagan Wickerman ceremonies are largely a 20th century revival, which think of the Wickerman, the 1973 film itself, and this is layered onto a real Iron Age site. I don't know if you've ever had a look at Owen Maku, but it's a very interesting site. So the protest is reacting to a modern reconstruction as much as anything ancient, anyway. Right, then we have a story about Tennessee governor candidate wants to ban pagan religions. So this is a Tennessee state representative, Monty Fritz, as a Republican running for governor, said in a televised interview that if elected, he'd pushed to ban mosques and what he called pagan religions, explicitly naming Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism under that label. His constitutional argument, the First Amendment, opens with Congress shall make no law. So in his reading, it's restrictions bind only the federal legislature, not state governments, meaning states are free to prohibit religions Congress can't touch, right? But when pressed on how he'd actually implement this, he drew a distinction within his own list, describing Islam as a political movement rather than a religion, seemingly to sidestep the more obvious free exercise objection there, where while still lumping Buddhism and Hinduism in as pagan. But that labeling is where it gets quite sloppy, actually, because Islam is an Arabic, or sorry, Abrahamic, get it eventually right, Abrahamic religion, just full stop. Um, but this grouping it with pagan faiths makes no historical or theological sense. Psychat said he lost to U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn, another Looney Tune. Is this the same guy? Yeah, I think there's too many Looney Tunes over there at the moment. Um, but where was I? Yeah, so basically trying to more sort of like loony. But anyway, so yeah, lumping Islam in there is just nonsense. But then we have Buddhism isn't generally classified as pagan either, since it isn't actually built around worship of a deity or deities. And Hinduism's relationship to the term pagan is genuinely debated among scholars, but the debate is about a term of Western Christian origin, being retrofitted onto a non-Abrahamic tradition, not about Hinduism being some kind of default paganism. The Wild Hunt's write-up on this actually leaned on Britannica and Merriam-Webster to make the point that pagan has a long history as a pejorative catch-all for not us, which is basically what's happening here. Um, but on the legal side, just checking my notes, Fritz's Congress-only reading ignores over a century of settled incorporation doctrine. The 14th Amendment's due process clause has long been held by the Supreme Court to apply the free exercise and establishment clauses to state governments too. It's not a fringe legal theory so much as one that's already been tested and lost. Reaction was swift and came from unexpected directions. The American Muslim Advisory Council condemned it, invoking Jefferson's Virginia state statute for religious freedom, and notably his own Republican primary rivals, Marsha Blackburn and John Rose, both affirmed religious liberty protections rather than backing him up. Was that who you mentioned just now? Yes, Marsha Blackburn, yeah. Um, Fritz has said he sees his campaign as a divine calling. Right. Okay, and then books. Books. So there is an upcoming Ronald Hutton book, Goddesses, A History of Love and War. This is Yale University Press, and it's out October 27th, 2026. I'm going to put the links in the description after the show, obviously. I think you can pre-order it. I did go and check. Unfortunately, I can't get it where I am, so it just gave me this weird kind of what was it? I don't know, some weird text on the button. but it wasn't pre-order, so I'm not sure if anybody else can pre-order it. But the book is about Hutton tracing 8 ancient goddesses of love and war across cultures. The Sumerian Inanna, there's the Greek Aphrodite, and the Egyptian Hathor, etc., etc., etc. Alexis T, hello, hello. I salute the Rembrandt of occult. Yeah, well, I'm assuming you're talking about Ronald Hutton, yeah. All right, and then just released, this was this past week actually, a book called Emerald, oh sorry, a book by Emerald Lotus. I haven't heard of this person myself, but the book's Charm Divination, which is casting trinkets to harness your intuition, which seems to be a growing thing at the moment actually. Um, but it's by Llewellyn. It was out this month, this past week. It's definitely not someone I'm familiar with, but she seems to be a very well known in a divination as a divination educator whose charm casting videos have gone viral online. So this is her first full book codifying the method itself, which is casting small trinkets or charms and reading their full, distinct from tarot runes or pendulum work itself. Pastor Semper, hello, hello. Did you know that Curiosity Enough, Punjabi MC is a Brummy? I don't know who Punjabi MC is. I know what a Brummy is. Go have a look now. Was it Punjabi? All right, well, that's coming up. Crossed Crow Books have, I didn't know about this one. Familiar Spirits, a practical guide for witches and magicians by Ronald Tyson. That's out in November. So, again, I'll put a link in there. I've never heard of Punjabi MC, don't know. Oh my goodness, he was born in Coventry like me. He was, he was born about a year and a half after me in Coventry. So he's not a Brummie then. He's a Coventry kid, like me. Yeah. All right then. Oh, quite exciting news. Dr. Angela Puka, if you do follow her, she has a new book coming out. It's only coming out summer 2027, so we've got a long wait still. But I did see this advertised on her Facebook. It's called Italian Folk Magic and Shamanism, which I am really looking forward to. She did publish previously Italian Witchcraft and Shamanism, but I have a feeling that was an academic text, which uh, costs a hell of a lot of money. So I think this is more, it's possibly the same thing. I did ask, but I didn't get a response if it's like a republishing of that with the retitling and everything else, but I didn't get a response. So I'm not sure if it's the same book, just more becoming more publicly accessible. Um, but yeah, that's it for the news for today. Pastor, what do you think about E.A. Coetting's books? I think they're bloody fucking awful. Coetting himself is just somebody who should be shunned and put in a little corner, and everybody who is in his camp should do the same. I think they're disgusting people. No, they're no value, no value in their work really. Um, Half the stuff they just pull out of thin air and make up. But yeah, I don't like them, obviously. That's not obvious. They're just a bunch of uh, middle-aged white men running around trying to be the be-all and end-all of the occult community, and they really don't know very much, actually. And yeah, no, not worth it. Really not. Why I don't know anything. Well, there's a lot of reasons. One of the main ones is that Quoting himself, and I know Michael Ford also falls into this category. They they say they are ex-members. Whether you can actually be an ex-member, I'm not sure, but they were members of the Order of Nine Angles, which is a very neo-Nazi order of Satanists who literally go around culling people, they call it, which is they kind of put them through a few tests, and if they fail, they actually kill them. They are removing the dross from society. That's their way of doing things. So yeah, no, that's the kind of person he is. You know, I don't really consider that to be anybody who I would want to take instruction from in the slightest. So that's my reasons. Um, all right. So that's it for the news today. If you do have any questions, just drop them in the comments to this, and I'll do some shorts or something. All right. Otherwise, have a good one. I'll see you all on Thursday for Hedge History. Okay. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, and ta-ra.